Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael and today we're going to be making half sour pickles. If you've never heard of those, stick with me. I'm going to show you how these come out. These are going to be fermented in the refrigerator. So I've got my jar here that we're going to be using today. This is a gallon jar and I've got 2 pounds of cucumbers here. These are the smallest ones that I could find. So definitely you want to pick the smallest ones that you can. And I've given these a good wash and we're going to set these to the side. Now with pickles, as you know, if you've seen any of my other videos, there is a root end and a blossom end on the pickle. And the blossom end has an enzyme in it that makes pickles, when they ferment and everything, they get kind of soft. So today we're going to alleviate that. You can definitely cut that off if you don't want that on there to take a chance on that happening. But I'm going to leave the ends on mine today. And I'm going to go through my ingredients and we're going to talk about what we've got here. So like I said, I've got my gallon jar that we've got here and I've got a lid for it. And then I've got roughly 2 tablespoons of salt here. And with our salt, we'll remember the only thing that we want on the ingredient label on the box is salt. You don't want anything else on there because a lot of the table salts and things that you get might have anti-caking agents, might have iodine in it, and we definitely don't want that in our ferment because that could mess up our fermentation process that we've got for pickles today. So this is 66 grams or roughly about 2 tablespoons of that salt. This is pickling and canning salt is what I've got here. Then I've got 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds. And this is what's going to take the place of taking the ends off the blooms of the cucumbers. This is bay leaves. And if you've got a grapevine in your yard, you can definitely use one of the grape leaves. That does the same thing. The grape leaves and the bay leaves have a tannin agent in it that helps keep the pickles from getting soft and mushy and keeps that nice crunch to the pickles after they get fermented. So this is about 5 to 6 bay leaves that I've got here. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of whole peppercorns. And those have not been crushed up, they're just whole peppercorns. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds. And this is all the ingredients we're going to do with that. So I've got my water now, and I did not use the tap water today. I didn't have time to let it sit to get the chlorine out of it. So this is 2 quarts of a bottled drinking water. If you've got a well water, you might want to consider using a bottled water for this, just in case there's a lot of minerals and things in your water. It could affect the fermentation process, and then it very well couldn't. So definitely, if you've got the time to let the water kind of sit and let the chlorine out of it if you're using tap water. So this is 2 quarts or just under 2 liters of a bottled drinking water that doesn't have anything in it but water, no chlorine added to it. It is filtered. So now that we've got all the ingredients here, I'm going to go ahead and add our salt so we can make our brine solution to our water. And we're just going to add that in. And then I've got a spatula here, and I'm just going to stir that till that gets completely dissolved. All right, so I've got my salt and my water mixed together, so I've got a good brine on that now, so I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to talk about some of the other ingredients. I've got some dill weed here that I picked up at the market, and that comes in these little plastic containers. If you've got it growing in your yard, you can definitely pick some of that and use that instead. All right, I'm going to go give this a little bit of a rinse, and I'll be right back. All right, I've got my dill weed here, and I've given it a good rinse now, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in the bottom of my jar and just kind of take a look at it and see. If you like a lot of the dill pickle taste, you can definitely add more. I might put some more in that. That's just barely covering the bottom of that, and I'll let you see that. I'm going to go ahead and give the rest of this a rinse and go ahead and put this into my container as well. All right, I'm back, and I'm going to go ahead and add this to the bottom of my jar as well. So that was 1 pack of this. It says up to a half a cup is what the front of this says. So if you're kind of gauging what you're using, you can definitely go by that. All right, now that we've got our dill weed in, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside, and I'm going to grab my garlic here. I've got 6 cloves of garlic, and with our garlic, I'm just going to take the bottom piece of it off, and then I'm going to take the side of the knife, and I'm just going to give it a push, and I'm going to pull that outer skin off of it, and I'm just going to drop that in whole, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and work on these other pieces. All right, we've got our garlic in our jar now, and if you don't like as much garlic as I've got here, you can definitely cut that back. This is just a basis to start with for your recipe when you make yours. If you've got a lot more cucumbers or less than this, you can definitely cut the recipe in half and then tailor it to however you like your pickles. So let's go ahead and get everything else ready. So like I said, I've given these a good wash. I'm going to turn these on their side, and I'm going to pack these in this jar and see if I can get them all in here like this. All right, I've got my cucumbers in my jar now, and let's add our other ingredients. We've got our coriander seed. We'll just put that in just like that. We'll put our bay leaves in, and like I said, if you've got grape leaves, you can definitely substitute that for a grape leaf if you've got one of those. We've got our black pepper seeds, and we've got our mustard seeds. Now, if you don't want to go out and buy all those ingredients, if you've got a pickling spice, all of the ingredients that we went over today is in this. This has a few more things in it, but if you definitely have pickling spice, you can definitely do that. You might want to try a tablespoon of that. And with this mixture that I've got today, if you're making a smaller batch, either use half a tablespoon or a teaspoon. Just all depends on how much seasoning you want to put in it. So if you've got pickling spice, this definitely has the ingredients of the peppercorn, coriander seed, the mustard, and the bay leaves in this bottle. All right, now that we've got that done, I'm gonna get this one more mix through. I can already tell it's already combined up very nicely. We're gonna take this and I'm gonna pour this over my cucumbers. All right, now that we've got our brine solution over our cucumbers, you can do one of two things. You can do it like this. If your cucumbers aren't floating to the top, if just the tips of them are exposed, then that will be fine. If you've got a jar here, you can definitely do that, and that just kind of pushes the cucumbers back down in the bottom. So you can put that like that, and then put your lid on it, and that would kind of help keep your pickles under the brine solution where that is. All right, I'm going to take the jar out of mine. I think mine are covered pretty good with that. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on these, and I'm going to put these in the refrigerator. Now these in the refrigerator are still going to ferment. They're not going to ferment as fast as they were sitting out on the counter, but these will ferment nicely and make you a nice pickle in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to leave these in there for 10 days, and you can come back and check on them at about 4 or 5 if you want to see if you like them at that point, or you can leave them in there the full time. But I'm going to put these in the refrigerator, and then about every day I might just come in and just kind of make sure that everything is mixed through and I've got everything under the surface. And if I see something that's floating that I definitely don't want my cucumbers to, then I can come back, like I said, and add a jar. Or if you've got some type of a saucer that would fit down in the opening of your jar, you can definitely put something like that in it to keep your cucumbers submerged. So in about 2 or 3 days, you'll notice that the color of the solution might start clouding up a little bit, and that is perfectly natural. That is what you want to see, because that is where your pickles are fermenting. All right, I'll put this in the refrigerator, and I will see you back when these are done. I am back. It has been 10 days since we started our process of our half sour pickles, and we're going to open them up today and give them a taste. I want you to kind of look at what the liquid has done in the jar. You can see, hopefully you can see that it's got a little bit of a yellowish tint to it, where the brine itself has done its fermentation and started its process of what it was doing in the refrigerator. Like I said earlier, before when I put these in the refrigerator, for the first couple of days, I would just kind of come through and just kind of give them a shake around just to make sure that everything was all mixed together. And then I didn't touch them for the next 8 days. So this is probably one of the easiest ferments that you could possibly do. And so let's give these a try and see what we've come up with. I'm going to give them a smell. Oh my goodness. You can definitely tell, you can smell the dill from the pickles where they are. So I'm going to grab one of these and we're going to give it a test and see what it tastes like. All right, we can see we've got nice crispness to our pickle still. You can see the texture on it is still really good. That smell is just incredible, what that smells like. So let's give it a cut and just take the ends of it off here, and I want to show you what these look like. And I'm going to cut it down the middle. All right, let's see what we've got here. So you can definitely tell by looking at these that the pickles have pickled and they've fermented a little bit. And even the inside of them smells really good. So let's give these a taste and see what these taste like. I hope you can hear that crunch to the camera. These are incredible. They've got a hint of garlic to them. They've got that dill to them. They've got that little bit of that brine from where that has fermented from that salt. These are absolutely delicious. And like I said, you can leave these in there as long as you want to. You can leave them in there for another couple of weeks and they will continue to ferment just a little bit. Anything that you put in the refrigerator like that where you're trying to ferment something is going to slow down, but it will do a little bit of fermenting, not like it does out on the counter. But this could not be any easier. If you want to try your hand at fermentation, if you've never tried it before, definitely try this. This could not be any easier. Follow the recipe, follow the technique, put them in the refrigerator, and just leave them alone. Let them sit there, and they will do their thing. I hope this has inspired you to try some of these half-sour pickles. And if you like this content, maybe you might consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And check out one of these other two videos over here. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And try these half-sour pickles. I know you're going to love this recipe. Leave me a comment in the section how yours turned out. Bye-bye now. These are so good, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop. See you in my next video.